Hey everyone, it's Kathy Mazak. Welcome to another video in our work from home video series. And of course, the 4-year-old jumped up right now. Say hi. Wave to the people. Okay. Okay. So today we are talking about, what? Okay. Well, okay. Go find a diaper in the living room. Okay. So today we are talking about, what are we talking about today? I'm thrown off by the child. Maybe this is happening to you. Go to the living room and get it. Okay. All right. If you're still with me, we are going to talk about the tenure clock and your and what's happening right now in the world. So, we're talking about tenure clock. Sorry, distracted by child. Okay, so tenure clock again. So the tenure clock may or may not stop for you. So I've been seeing different kind of posts online and looking at different universities reporting that they're going to stop or they're going to slow down the tenure clock. And so I wanted to bring this issue up and see what's happening at your university. And so there's a few things that I want to talk about before we get to that question. So if you are willing to comment and let me know if there's any talk about stopping or slowing clock, then I would love to know if that's happening for you right now. All right, but I want to talk about two other things first. The first thing I want to talk about is I want you to think about the way and just start right now to indicate all the things that might have been canceled or might have been delayed because of the current crisis in terms of presentations and all of those things. I want you to adopt right now a way to indicate that on your CV. And I've seen things, going around the internet just as simple as an asterisk and saying something like, canceled due to COVID-19 or something like that. But you definitely want to be documenting those papers that got accepted or invited talks that got canceled. You want to definitely document them on your CV, but indicate that they weren't delivered due to this crisis. This is a global crisis, so anyone who is alive now is going to understand. They may interpret it different ways, but they're going to understand what happened when your conference paper got canceled because of what's happening now. But you do just want to indicate that on your CV. So that's one thing. The second thing I want you to do, and I mentioned this in another video, but it's worth repeating. So it was really like about a week ago that the semester hit the fan, to not swear on Facebook Live if your kids are watching. So, things started to kind of blow up, and it became clear that a lot of people were going to quarantine or self-quarantine, and that universities were shutting down and going online. So that happened about a week ago right now for most people. And I just want you to stop for a second and think about the amount of work you have done related to this big change in everybody's lives that you wouldn't have done had it been a normal semester. And I want you to document that. You can document it simply in a list, in a Google Doc or whatever, but you need to have a way of remembering this last week. So for a lot of us, this last week was super stressful because we were told all of a sudden that we needed to put our classes online. And we weren't given necessarily a lot of instruction. If anybody was in an administrative position, it was exponentially more difficult to get everything done that we needed to do to kind of prepare our departments and the people working for us. We needed to field student questions, deal with graduate students. So many parts of our university life were absolutely turned upside down and needed our attention. And that extra work is something that needs to be recognized by your university. So in order to have it recognized, though, you have to document it and remember it, right? So just because I think a lot of people in this last week have felt like completely overwhelmed, I want to let you know that I think that like it's going to get better. It's definitely going to get better. This week was awful. Next week will also be a struggle. And then you will find your footing and you will get into a rhythm, and it will be hard, but it won't be as hard as this last week. So you need to document everything that you've done. Did you create extra office hours time online in order to talk to people about the virus? Did you create any additional materials? Like, I know that some professors have provided kind of like a list of campus resources or a list of online teaching tools or things like that students that are helpful to students, anything like that, you need to be documenting, because that's all extra labor on your part. And why do I mention the canceled conferences and the documenting extra service that you've done in the last week? Well, because so many of you are getting ready for tenure or promotion to full, and all of that stuff counts. So you need to make sure that you're documenting so that when you create your tenure and promotion materials, you can narrate what happened in this last week and how you contributed to making things better in the lives of your university staff and students through your actions and your extra labor. So now let's go back to that question of the clock. Okay. So first of all, like, university administrators are figuring this out as they go. So some administrations have already come out and said, we are going to make concessions to your tenure clock, or we are going to stop your tenure clock. Different things are going to change the standards, whatever. And I just want to talk about that for a minute. So some have, some haven't. If you are pre-tenure and you are worried about how this crisis is going to affect your tenure documents, you should make a meeting with your department chair and or your dean and talk to them about it now. Or, make a meeting now and talk to them about it within the next couple of weeks. I think that it is worth being vocal, like not just being vocal on social media, but being vocal in your university and saying like, hey, this is how I want to be supported at this time so that I can do my best in my job. And for some people, some people would want to have a clock stop. But some people I've talked to are like, no, I don't want to keep doing this. Like, I don't want to keep being in this tenure prep thing. I want to keep going. And so I don't want to stop my clock. So if that's how you feel and your university is telling you that they're going to stop, then you need to be vocal about that. Like, you need to have a meeting, talk through it with your department chair, with your dean, and say like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I don't want to stop, or I do want to stop the clock. And here's the reasons why. I've also heard like people saying like, well, they don't want to stop the clock, but they want all this extra service to count, So that's something else too, to talk to your dean and the people in your school about. So let me know in the comments if you have any particular situations that you want me to talk through. And I will just leave you with, again, a review of the 3 things, which is make sure right now that you develop a way to indicate canceled things on your CV. Document all this amazing service work you've been doing in the last week and all the extra energy and materials creation and everything that has gone into your preparation to give your classes online. And also be vocal about what you want, what you feel like you need in terms of stopping the clock or having extra service count in a different way. Be vocal and open communication with your dean and department chair. And I'll just kind of conclude by saying,